الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الناصح الأمين. اللهم صل على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد، يا عباد الله، قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: يا أيها الناس. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in His noble book, يا أيها الناس, O humanity, O mankind. يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق. O humanity, O mankind, verily the promise of your Lord is true. The promise of your Lord is true. Verily the promise of Allah is true. O humanity, O mankind, the promise of Allah is true. فَلَا تَغُرَنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. So do not let the life of this world deceive you. Do not let this worldly life deceive you. Don't be deceived by the dunya. وَلَا يَغُرَنَّكُمْ بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورِ. Nor be deceived by the chief deceiver. Nor allow the chief deceiver to deceive you about Allah. Do not allow the deceiver to deceive you about Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in the very next ayah, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. Allah Ta'ala says in the very next verse what means, verily the shaitan is unto you an enemy. The shaitan, he is unto you an enemy. This is the reality of your relationship between you and the shaitan. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌ. The shaitan is your enemy. He's not your friend. He's not your trusted advisor. But rather he is unto you an enemy. فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. So take him as an enemy. Consider him as such. Consider him as an enemy. إِنَّمَا يَدْعُو حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُوا مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Verily the shaitan, he gives da'wah to his hizb. He calls his hizb, he calls his party to become from the people of the fire, the people of the sa'ir, the people of the hellfire. This is what he invites his to. وَالْكُفَّارُ كَفَرَ هُمْ حِزْبُ الشَّيْطَانِ. The disbelievers, they are the party of shaitan. The disbelievers, they are the party of shaitan. So those things that you find particular amongst the kuffar, whether it be from their manners and their mores and their beliefs and to the end of it, that of which you find is contrary to the deen of al-Islam, that which is un-Islamic, they know for surety, know without doubt that this is from who? This is from the shaitan. And they are the hizb of shaitan. And shaitan, he invites his hizb to be from the people of the fire. So do not imitate the kuffar and what they are doing. You don't want to be like the kuffar and what they are doing. You don't want to have for you the same end result that the kuffar will have for them, because they will be from what? They will be from the people of the fire. They are the ashab al-sa'ir. They will be from the people of the hellfire. They will be from the people of the hellfire. So you do not want to adorn yourselves with the characteristics of the people of hell, because you don't want for you, your final destination, to be their final destination. So therefore we have to be contrary to them in that which is particular to them, because they are the hizb of shaitan. And there's not a single person in his right mind, there's not a single person with true iman that will want to imitate the hizb of shaitan. There's not a single believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who would, in reality, if they thought about it, they had their mind, will want to imitate the party of a shaitan. Verily the shaitan, he invites his party to be from the occupants of the fire. The Fadilatul Shaykh إمام وخطيب مسجد الحرام سابقا محمد سبيل رحمه الله ta'ala. He says, and I want everyone to pay close attention to what the Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala he mentions. He says, Ibadullah, O slaves of Allah. And again, I want us to pay attention, because there's not a single one of us except that we will say that we don't want to be from the Hizb Shaitan. We don't want to go to hell. We all want to go to the Jannah. So I want you to pay close attention, oh you who wants the Jannah. Oh you who wants to go to heaven, I want you to pay very close attention. He says, Ibadullah, slaves of Allah, Inna Allah khalaqa al-insan da'ifa. Verily Allah has created the human beings as weak. Created the human being, and the human being is da'ifan. He's weak. Da'ifan fi jami'i shu'unih. He is weak in all of his affairs. All of his affairs you'll find him weak. ضعيفا تحت تأثير الشهوة والهوى. He is weak when it comes to the influences of his desires, of his lowly desires. It is important that we understand this reality. It's very important that we don't have an inflated opinion about ourselves, because that's what'll get us in trouble. As they say, what arrogance always precedes the fall. A person becomes arrogant, he thinks himself untouchable, deems himself untouchable. Now you say the next step is where he falls down, because he doesn't properly assess the situation. If you know that you're vulnerable and that you have vulnerabilities, then you wouldn't expose yourself to dangers, because you know you're vulnerable. If you know you have vulnerabilities, you will not expose yourself to dangers and that which will hurt you and harm you, because you know of your vulnerability. But if you think that you're invincible, then you might stand there for anything, thinking that you can take it, you can handle it. And that's what the shaitan wants, because he knows that you're weak as relates to the influence of your desires. The Shaykh, he says that we are weak as relates to the influence of our desires and our lowly desires. يؤثر الفاني على الباقي. The temporary has an influence and a precedence over that which will last. We allow the that temporary pleasure to endanger our lasting life, our lasting pleasure. يؤثر دنياه على أخراه. He allows the life of this world to adversely affect his hereafter. He allows the life of this world to adversely affect his hereafter. فهو يقدح ويكد ويعمل ويجد في طلب المال والجاه والسعادة الدنيا. So you will find the individual that he labors hard, he toils very hard, he works hard, and with all sincerity to increase his money, to increase his rank and his position, to increase his glory and happiness of what in this world. The glory, the happiness that relates and is connected to this world, this dunya. ولكنه يتثاقل عن مصالحه الروحية والسعادة الأبدية. But he is lumbersome, he is lethargic, he is lazy when it comes to what? When it comes to him working hard and exerting himself as relates to the rectification of his spirit, or his spiritual rectification, and the everlasting happiness. And the everlasting happiness. I want each and every one of us to pay very close attention to what the Shaykh is saying. And I want us not just to pay attention, but I want us to look at our own lives, to see what from this rings true as relates to ourselves. The Shaykh, he says, ولكنه هائم في الخياليات والأوهام في أغلب الأحيان عندما يتعلق بالموضوع بمصالحه الروحية. He said, but you will find that he is in a state of delusion. He is in a state of delusion and confusion in most instances when it comes to those things that are related to the affair of rectifying his soul. of his spiritual rectification, you will find in most cases, you will find most times, as relates to our spiritual rectification, you will find the majority of our time, we are dazed and confused. We are dazed and confused when it comes to our spiritual rectification. When it comes to rectifying our souls, when it comes to preparing for the akhirah, you will find in most instances we are dazed and confused. إنك تجد أحدنا يسعى ويجد ليله ونهاره وسره وجهاره لكسب المعيشة. You will find that one of us, he will spend, and he will exert himself, and he will work very hard and very diligently, placing importance and significance throughout his day, throughout his night, his secret, openly, what? And trying to gain something that relates to his living, meaning trying to get some money, trying to increase his wealth. Then you will find that in the likes of these instances, the likes of these occasions, you will find that he is very diligent when it comes to that. Very diligent. The Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, فَتَجِدُ أَكْثَرُنَا يُحَاوِلُونَ أَن يَكُونَ منطقيا وواقعيا عندما يتألق الأمر بالمصلحة المالية والمادية. He said that you will find most of us figuratively and actually, theoretically and practically, you will find that they'll be trying hard, they'll be striving hard in those affairs that relate to the rectification of his money, the rectification of his material matters, his dunya. You will find that they're working hard when it comes to that. The Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, فَهُوَ يَمْتَطِي الْأَجْوَاءِ وَيَرْكَبُ الْبِحَارِ. He said that you will find this one boarding the skies and boarding the oceans. Meaning no matter what it takes, you'll find him jumping on planes, jumping on boats, planes, trains, and automobiles, whatever it takes, traveling. If it comes to the dunya, because he needs some dunya. وَيَقْتَحَمُ الْأَخْطَارِ فِي سَبِيلِ الْحُصُولِ عَلَى الدِّرْهَمِ وَالدِّينَارِ. And you will find him boldly embarking upon risks when it comes to getting some dollars and cents. He will boldly embark upon risk when it comes to him getting some dollars and cents. Look at all of the effort a person will have to go through, all of the money and time a person will have to go through in order to get a visa to come to America. Those who are not indigenous to America, those who travel to America, you know the toil that you went through to get here. You know the effort that you went through to get here. Nobody in their right mind will accept from you that you said you came to America because you wanted to be a better Muslim. Nobody in their right mind will accept from you that you came to America because you wanted to be better upon your religion. Nobody in their right mind will accept from you that you came to America because you was worried about your hereafter. You came to America because you wanted dunya. That's the reality. You wanted more money. You wanted to move up socially and rank and so on and so forth. What as relates to dunya? That's why you went through what you went through to come here. Embarking boldly upon risk. Taking planes, trains, and automobiles, whatever it takes, for dollars and cents. وَلَوْ قُلْتَ لَهُ. And if you were to say to him, إِنَّ اللَّهَ تَكَفَّلَ بِأَرْزَاقِ الْعِبَادِ فَانْتَظِرْ ما كتب الله لك من رزق فلن يفوتك ما قدر لك. And if someone were to say, merely Allah, He is in charge and He's responsible for feeding the creatures and giving them their sustenance, so just wait, idly wait and see what Allah has written for you. Because that which is decreed for you, it won't pass you. If someone came to one of us and said, just wait, don't work for the dunya. Why are you working for the dunya? Just sit there, don't do nothing. Whatever is written for you, it'll come to you anyway. It's not going to leave you. Don't worry about it. Just sit around in your hands and don't do no effort for your worldly life. The Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says, لَقَالَ لَكَ, he will say to you, لَا بُدَّ مِنْ فِعْلِ السَّبَبِ, he will say, I gotta do the reasons, I gotta do the causes, I gotta do the footwork. وَالشَّرَعْ أَمَرَ بِمُعَاطَاتِ الْأَسْبَابِ, and the legislation, the Islamic legislation, it commands us to take the causes and the reasons. It commands us with that. وَاسْتَدَلَّ بِقَوْلِهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ, and he will bring to you as a proof and the evidence Allah Ta'ala's statement, هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ ذَلُولًا فَامْشُوا فِي مَنَاكِبِهَا وَكُلُوا مِنْ رِزْقِهِ. He will say, and Allah Ta'ala, he says, so as a dalil from what I'm saying, you got to take the asbab, you got to take the means and the causes, you got to do the footwork. Allah Ta'ala, he says what means, and verily, he meaning Allah, has made the earth for you, subservient for you. So walk throughout the paths of the earth, walk throughout the roads of the earth, and eat from the provisions. The shahid is that what? You got to walk through the earth to get it. You just don't sit on your hands. You got to walk through the earth and get the provisions. You see Allah says it right here in this ayah. وَبِقَوْلِهِ سُبْحَانَهُ, and with Allah Ta'ala's statement, وَآخَرُونَ يَضْرِبُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَبْتَغُونَ مِنْ فَضْلِ اللَّهِ, and that there are those other from amongst them who they travel out in the earth. They travel amongst the earth, seeking what? The bounty of Allah Azza wa Jal. وَبِغَيْرِهِ مَا مِنَ الْآيَاتِ وَالْأَحَادِيثِ, and other than that from the ayat and the hadith. وَرُبَّمَا رَفَعَ عَقِيرَةً, and maybe he will even raise his voice. بِمَقَالَ أَمِيرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ عُمَرَ ibn Khattab رضي الله تعالى عنه, he will raise his voice saying the statement of Umar ibn Khattab, إِنَّ السَّمَاءَ لَا تُمْطِرُ ذَهَبًا وَلَا فِضَّةً, that the earth, it don't rain, that the sky don't rain down gold and silver. They'll say this to you, the sky don't rain down gold and silver. You got to get up, you got to work, you got to strive for it. فَيُقَالُ إِنَّ هَذَا الْحَقِّ, so it shall be said unto him, this is the truth. This is the truth. وَلَا لَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ فِي هَذَا, this is the truth, and nobody gonna blame you for that. Because that's the truth. You have to take the means, you have to take the causes. Nobody will blame you for that. That's the haqq. And if you came at a person like this from this way of questioning, this is what he will say to you. As relates to what? You're speaking about dunya things. He'll come with all these ayat. This is how you gotta take the means, you gotta take the causes. This is how it works. This is the truth, that's how it works. ولكن عندما يتعلق بالأمر بمصالح الروحية والدينية التي أوجبها الله عليه، عندما يتعلق بالأمر فيها أو فيما بينه وبين آخرين، أو فيما بينه وبين آخرته، وفيما بينه وبين والديه وأقاربه وجيرانه وبين إخوانه المؤمنين، ستجد حينئذ معرضا عن فعل الأسباب. When it comes to the dunya, he'll tell you, you got to take the means, you got to take the causes, you got to do what you got to do. But when it comes to that which relates between him and his akhirah, that which relates to the affair of rectifying his soul, rectifying his religion, that which Allah has made wajib upon him, as it relates to the affair between him and his hereafter, between him and how he should treat his parents, between him and how he should treat his relatives, between him and how he should treat his neighbors, between him and how he should treat his brothers who believe, his brothers and sisters who are believers. You will find that in this regard, he will be one who has averted himself from what? From taking the asbab. Now, when it comes to the dunya, we got to take the asbab, we got to do the work. But more so when it comes to the akhirah, we got to do the work. We all got up this morning and did what we had to do and punch whatever time clock and was where we had to be for our jobs because of the dunya. But what have we done up until this day, up until this point as relates to our akhirah? What work have you put in for after you die? That's my question to myself and to all of you. What work have you put in on this day? Just take this day as an example. What work have you put in today for your hereafter? But already now half the day has gone by, so a lot of us already done put 4 hours in for the dunya. How much time you don't put in for your akhirah? This past week has already gone by. Most of us already 36 hours in for the dunya. What about for the akhirah? And we're not talking about those who don't put in overtime this week already 40 plus for dunya. What have you put forward this week for your akhirah? The same way you got to work for your dunya, and you realize that if you don't work for your dunya, then you're not going to get what you're looking for. You think it's going to be different for the akhirah? You think for the akhirah you can sit on your hands, you don't got to do nothing, you're going to get the jannah just because? Because of what? أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم لجميع المسلمين فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. يا عباد الله, we have to work for the hereafter. We can't sit upon our hands idly thinking that it'll just happen, because we have to work for the hereafter. We have to be diligent as relates to fulfilling the rights that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He has upon us, for worshiping Him and Him alone. And that necessitates that we learn. We learn about the affairs of Tawheed, that we learn how to properly worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon the sunnah of Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You're not going to make it to Jannah just because you hoping so, just because you wishing that that's how it's going to be. But we have to work. We have to put forth effort. When it comes to our families, when it comes to our parents, we have to put forth the effort in treating them the way, in a manner in which they're supposed to be treated. Our neighbors, we have to treat them in a manner they're supposed to be treated. Our brothers and our sisters, we have to treat them in a manner they're supposed to be treated. We have to do that which Allah has commanded us to do and stay away from the haram. The Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that an individual, when it comes to fulfilling the likes of these rights, you will find that they will be sluggish. Mutathaqilan, mutakassilan, muhmilan. You will find that they will be sluggish. They will be lazy and neglectful li'umuri dini, for the affairs of his religion. وَلَا يَبْذِلُ في سبيل القيام بها أي جهود. And you won't see him putting forth any effort as relates to the rectification of these affairs and the establishment of these affairs. وَلَا يَعْمَلُ فِي نَيْلِهَا أي فعل محمود. And you won't see him doing any praiseworthy characteristics or praiseworthy things and actions as relates to the attainment of these things. The attainment of these things. مُقَصِّرًا فِي الطَّاعَةِ. You will find that he'll be an individual who comes up short. He's an individual who is lacking as relates to his obedience unto Allah Azza wa Jalla. مُصِرًّا عَلَى الْمَعْصِيَةِ. A person who is consistent upon disobedience unto Allah Azza wa Jalla. مُتَنَاسِيًا حَقُّ الْوَالِدَيْنِ. A person who forgets about the rights of his parents, doesn't give his parents their rights. وَالْحَقُّ الْأَقَارِبِ. And he doesn't give the relatives their rights. وَالْجِيرَانِ. And he doesn't give his neighbors their rights. وَالْحُقُوقُ عِبَادُ اللَّهِ. And he doesn't give to the slaves of Allah their rights. وَلَا يَتَفَطَّنُ لِقَوْلِهِ sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. An individual who does not fully understand, he is not aware, he does not fully understand, his intelligence relates to the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, al-Muslim man salim al-Muslimun min lisanihi wa yadihi wal-muhajir man hajara ma naha Allahu anhu. He won't be fully understanding the reality of what? Of the statement of the Prophet ﷺ that a believer is the one who the believers are safe. The believers are safe. The Muslim is the one who what? Who the other Muslims, they are safe from his tongue and safe from his hand. When it comes to this, is this us? Or do we listen to gossip, carry gossip, lie about our brothers, backbite our brothers, backbite our sisters, carry backbiting, listen to backbiting, and so on and so forth? Carrying slander, spreading slander, as relates to our brothers and our sisters. Does this sound like somebody who's working for his akhirah? Does that sound like someone who's trying to build something good in the akhirah? Because for lack of a better term, when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, let's liken it to an individual building a structure. And those times that we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, then we're infringing upon the structure that we're trying to build. When you backbite an individual, slander your brother, slander your sister, lying about them and so on and so forth, saying behind their back that which they don't like, you think you don't got to pay them back? You think you don't got to pay them back? So what sense would it make for me to say, oh yeah, I'm busy constructing my structure, when half of the day I'm giving bricks away, half of the day I'm taking bricks off of the structure? So what I'm really building? What am I really preparing for? So how much worse so an individual who doesn't even strive and excel in doing that which is good, doesn't even strive and excel in doing that which is right, doesn't even try and excel in worshiping and obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but has his day filled with sin, and then he comes to you and say, but I'm working towards my akhirah. What akhirah are you working towards? The hellfire? That's what you're working for? That's what you're striving for? The hellfire? He'll tell you, no, I'm going to be in Jannah. That's how it's going to be. You don't know about this hadith? That the Muslim, he is the one who the other Muslims are safe from his hand and safe from his tongue? That the one who is truly a migrant, the one who truly makes hijrah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he is the one who leaves off that which Allah has made haram. He leaves off sin. He migrates away from sin. We don't understand the reality of this. We don't know the reality of Allah Ta'ala's statement. كُلْ إِمْرِئٍ بِمَا كَسَبَ الرَّهِينَ. That everybody, they will be responsible for that which they have done. Everyone, they will get what they put forward. Everyone is a pledge for that which they have put forward. We don't understand that. That what we put forward is that's what we have. That's what we have to look forward to. If you didn't put forward anything for your akhirah, what do you expect to see there? When it comes to the dunya, you realize that. If you don't put forward nothing for your dunya, your worldly affairs, and you don't expect to see anything. So how come we do the same? We don't put forth anything for our akhirah, but yet we expect to see something. If it don't make sense in the worldly life, why would it make sense in the hereafter? If it don't make sense in this life, why would it make sense in that life? We don't understand, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَأَلَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. And that a person, he will only have that which he has put forward. وَأَنَّ سَعْيَهُ سَوْفَ يُرَى. And that what he put forward is going to be seen. What you do won't be lost. What you put forward from good will not be lost. But likewise, what you put forward from evil, it will be seen. It's not going to go away. Unless you make tawbah. You put forth some good to get rid of that. You make tawbah, you repent. But what you do, it will be seen. ثُمَّ يُجَزَاهُ جَزَاءَ الْأَوْفَى. And then he will be paid in full measure. We don't understand the likes of these ayat. We think that no matter what we do or don't do, no matter what we do from sin or don't do from righteousness, we just going to be in heaven because we got it like that? Because that's what we want? We're just going to go to heaven just because? This is what we think? We don't have to work for it? Do we not know the reality of Allah Ta'ala's statement? لَيْسَ بِأَمَانِيكُمْ. It won't be according to your desires. It won't be according to what you wish. It won't be according to what you hope for. وَلَا أَمَانِ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ. Nor will it be in accordance to what the people of the book hope and desire for, what they wish for. How many times have we seen individuals from the most corrupt of individuals from the people of the book? And they'll swear too that they're going to Jannah. they have no doubt they're going to be in heaven. The most corrupt Christian, most corrupt Jew, upon kufr, upon shirk, upon ma'asiyah, upon fawahish, and they'll tell you with all certainty, I'm going to heaven. Listen, it's not in accordance to what they think, what they wish, what they desire. What you want don't change reality. What you want, what you desire, what you wish does not change, nor does it have an effect on reality. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that it's not going to be the way that we wish it to be. It's not going to be the way that we hope it's going to be. Nor is it going to be the way that the Jews and the Christians hope it's going to be. But rather what? Allah Ta'ala, He goes on in the ayah to say, مَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا يُجْزَأُ بِهِ. But whoever does evil, he will be rewarded for it. Whoever does evil, وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ سُوءًا يُجْزَأُ بِهِ. Whoever does evil, he will pay for it. He will be held accountable for it. He will be recompensed for it. Meaning that what? That the ibrah is not upon our hopes and our desires, but is upon the actions that we put forward. We have to take the means and the causes to make it to the Jannah. We have to work for heaven. This is the reality. But with that working and the taking of the asbab, with that working and the taking of the asbab, ya ibad, it is important. بَلْ لَا بُدْ مَعَهَا. But rather along with it and in concert with it, مِنَ الْإِعْتِمَادِ وَالتَّوَكُّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. We have to put our trust and our reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can't put all of our attention and efforts upon the mere taking of the means. We have to take the means, no doubt. But more important, we have to put our trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to depend upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. The one who in His hands is everything. The one who in His hands is everything. We have to depend upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to have reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while we work for the hereafter. For the one who does this, the one who puts his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he relies upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he works hard, then he will see success in this dunya and in the hereafter. We have to put forth the work while putting our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you don't take nothing away from this khutbah, you don't take nothing away from these last few minutes, except when it comes to the hereafter, we have to work for it if we want to see benefit, just like we work for the dunya when we want to see a worldly benefit. But it has to be working while putting our trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you don't take nothing away from it except for that, well, alhamdulillah, then you got what you need. Faqimus salah.